Welcome to Exploring the Metaverse, where we explore the depths of virtual and augmented reality and the ever-expanding metaverse and how it applies to regular people. Today's guest, Justin Melillo, and CEO and co-founder of Mona, the metaverse world-building platform designed for creators by creators. More than 3,000 have designed and minted high-resolution interactive worlds available for purchase on OpenSea. And there is no land or artificial scarcity in the Monaverse. Justin has extensive experience in augmented reality, virtual reality, and has worked with top musicians like Drake, CharliXCX, and Sia, and top brands like EA, MAC Cosmetics, and the Discovery Channel to bring their creative visions to life. Let's get into the episode. Justin, thank you very much. Mr. Melillo, I believe I've gotten that correct, the CEO and co-founder of Mona. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Really thrilled to be here.
Absolute pleasure, sir. Absolute pleasure. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. Tell our listeners about yourself and your background. And how did you come to be a part of this metaverse world-building platform?
Well, that's great. And again, thank you for having me here. So my name is Justin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Mona, the leading 3D world-building platform and Web3 social network for the metaverse. Before Mona, I was actually at Magic Leap, where I worked on a team pioneering the creation of a digital human AI and volumetric capture performances for spatial computing or mixed reality.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah. You may have heard of Magic Leap. I'm sure many of your listeners have. I've been in the metaverse space for a little bit, and even before that, for the past 12 years, really, I've been in creative roles. Beginning in animated filmmaking, VFX, creating immersive augmented reality experiences, virtual reality experiences. And I've worked on a bunch of AR experiences that even have hundreds of millions of views across multiple different platforms. So yeah, been in the space for a little bit. And as a creator myself, which I think is really been the core motivation for starting Mona.
Wow. Yeah. You're paving the way. You're literally paving the way for this future that I envisioned, and the sort of core spark that made me want to make this show and to learn and to talk to interesting people. So, there's so much. It's such a large subject overall. But one of this big trending topics that I found really interesting, that's really related a lot to what you guys are working on, is this topic of artificial land scarcity and how, the good stuff's already gone. Is that true? Can you tell me about that? Is there room still for me and my friends that might be lagging behind, my colleagues that are interested?
Yes, there's still room. You're not missing out on anything if you haven't purchased any virtual land anywhere. I think there has been a ton of speculation in the space, and I've seen many headlines around a virtual land rush, so to speak. But really, we at Mona, we feel that very much like the internet, there is no shortage of digital real estate. In the metaverse, you can literally have a world as large as your imagination can build. And there's really no sort of scarcity in terms of virtual real estate. And that's why with Mona, we're really dedicated to fostering that financial freedom for creators, and really placing creators at the forefront. So really, we're actively working to change the conversation away from land scarcity and speculation, and more about immersive environments and experiences built by creators that their value is really derived from the creative merit of the space, and not the fact that, there's only 5 plots of land or, something like that.
Yeah, we're talking digital stuff here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
We can create infinitely as much as our hardware can facilitate.
Exactly.
And I'm so excited. Looking through your webpage at monaverse.com, I've been seeing these beautiful images, and it just seems to be like, I think it's a natural place for people to be. And, I think it's just starting, right? You talk about building a platform for creators and a way that people can start to create these virtual spaces. And I think that we're at the beginning, right? I mean, it seems to me that this, obviously we're at the beginning, but not just the beginning, like at the very first step. And I know the concept of the metaverse is still this broad and oft differently defined subject, right? But to me, I look at this very similarly to the internet, and how, as myself as a teenager, being there as this thing formed and started to come to life, if you will, and it's really developed its own personality. We can talk about the internet in a air quotes kind of way, and everyone kind of generally knows what you're talking about and has their own defined vision of what that might be, even if it's completely different from a gamer to an artist to a businessman to just somebody who's browsing their favorite social media platform. And what stage of the game do you feel that Monaverse is at, with the metaverse and with those augmented and virtual reality situations that are really developing? And how do you think this is going to develop for regular people? Right? How is this going to start to impact people's lives in a regular way? How could I tell my mom that this could have an impact on her day to day? And she's not really a tech girl.
That's a really, really great question. And I think, yeah, I think it's really helpful to kind of like put into context just how impactful digital experiences and virtual worlds are and are becoming. Just the fact that, people, I believe in 2021, people spent like over 41 billion hours inside of Roblox, right? Virtual worlds, virtual experiences are taking over. And as hardware and software improves, really as hardware improves, we're going to continue to see, these digital experiences are going to merge seamlessly with the physical world. Where if you're interacting with a digital object, it will be almost the same experience as interacting with a physical object.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, exactly. And digital objects and digital assets are going to carry and hold a ton of value, if not more value than some physical objects. Another great example, as I'm sure you're aware now, many NFTs are selling for amounts that are even higher than physical art pieces. And so I think it's really, really important at the core of it to embrace and to empower creators and developers, because they're the ones who are going to be building these experiences, these assets that we're going to be interacting with, and that will have all this value.
The frontline experience, right? And if we don't, if we don't support those people who are creating it, then those non-technical individuals who are interested and keen to participate, their sort of onboarding experience is non-existent, and this concept just exists then in the subject of billionaires and other fringe interested parties. And to me, that's really the big thing, and that's where I feel like I want to be a part of things, is that I can help to bring people together and to help share this information and let folks know where they can go, as you're still building out, and as these incredible projects just across the world continue to blow my mind. And I've been interested in the concept of a blockchain, and how this secure digital platform, if you will, allows for it takes the cheating out. It makes things trustable and worthy, and this value that we talk about. I think that's the hard leap to get there for most folks, is to truly conceptualize that a blockchain is one of the most secure concepts that's ever been derived in a digital way, right? And that as a participant in that, they're adding to this security, and really helping to move this forward in a meaningful way. And meaningful, speaking of meaning, is typically money. Definitely conversations tend to come back to that. And you said earlier how there's so many businesses, and how does this experience really come at it from the business angle? How can consumers find value and businesses bring their products and services to people? And how does Mona be the linchpin that really, I believe, in my understanding anyway, this is sort of a bridge, right? You're building the blocks that allow me as regular Joe and, big business who wants to share with me their products. So talk about, if you would, a little bit about how business can really benefit and how people can have a changed business experience, right? Or a consumer experience, if you will. That's
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to recognize too, like as hardware develops, there was a really pivotal moment in tech with the iPhone and with just like mobile computing, right? I think like many people could almost barely remember a time when they didn't have an iPhone in their pocket constantly connected to the internet. We're about to enter in that next era where it is now going to be all about wearable computing and spatial computing and mixed reality. And so just to help put into context for people kind of how this will impact day-to-day lives, like, very soon you'll have a very lightweight and low form factor way,
Yes.
you'll have access to these wearable devices like a pair of glasses that will enable you to interact seamlessly with these digital objects and digital content. And to your point, blockchain is such a key piece of this because it does serve at the very like sort of base explanation of it. Blockchain is really just that sort of scoreboard or that digital ledger of who owns what and who owns what digital assets, and really being able to identify a truly unique one of one digital asset. So that's really at the core of it, like, at a basic level, kind of the importance of blockchain when we're considering these digital assets in digital worlds.
Yeah, the value is real.
And the value is real. The value is real. And with Mona, so for Mona, our mission is really to empower people around the world to create, collect, and share high quality immersive experiences on the blockchain, and really serve to grow the open metaverse. And so we talk about the open metaverse in the sense that rather than being owned by one central authority who owns all your data on servers, and all of your things that you're buying, digital assets, are tied to a user account, similar to when you're playing a game like Fortnite or Valorant. You don't really have ownership over those assets. But with decentralization and blockchain, one, your data, your like all of that is not owned by one central authority, and all of the assets that are a part of the open metaverse are actually decentralized. So it's actually much more secure, and you have more value out of it. No one is controlling your user account. You're in control of your wallet, your keys, your assets, and that is just so key. So for Mona, really, our vision is to be the medium of the metaverse, and really, when you're interacting with digital content, digital experiences, at the infrastructure layer and at the experience layer, really the idea is you're interacting with Mona. And so basically, how this all works, and for creators, for businesses, for anyone who wants to participate, as a creator, you can basically build in your existing tool set. If you're a 3D artist building in Blender, Maya, Cinema 4D, if you're a VR artist using Gravity Sketch, you can create these digital content, digital experiences. And with our template, you can actually upload this content straight to the web browser. We can immediately jump in and control it like in an interactive experience all through the web.
I think that's so important,
yeah.
that browser-based end
Yes.
user experience. And I really think that that's a key point for individuals who are listening to understand that you aren't necessarily at all stages of virtual and augmented experiences going to have a several $100 device strapped to your head, right? You can get in there right now with what you have in your pocket or in your home that you've already invested that upfront cash into, right? If you have a web browser or access to one, this is accessible for everyone.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry. I just think I have to interrupt you there because you really touched on that point. It's so important for everyone, that this isn't some foreign concept that's just being worked away in some corner of your imagination. This is at the forefront right now, available currently as we're speaking. And sorry,
I can dive in. Straight. If you want to check out Monaverse.com, we have thousands of worlds now that have been uploaded, which all you have to do is jump in straight from your web browser. You don't need to download an app. You don't need fancy hardware. That's really at the core of what we're doing, is making this accessible for anyone, lowering the barrier to entry for creators, for users, for participants, and helping them really tokenize these one-of-one unique digital experiences, and then enabling for anyone to be able to join from wherever they are in the world and connect with others.
Now, how do you keep that open, Justin? How do you keep that accessible? I mean, right now, obviously, it is, and there's so much available. How do we prevent those billionaires from coming in and saying, all right, well, you guys have done a good job now. I'll just buy you out, and that's that. And then now it's all paywalled and locked behind. How do we approach that? Because I think that's a threat, isn't it?
Yeah, it is super important. We don't want this to become like a giant tech company, again, just owning everything. And because all of these assets are stored on the blockchain, That really is key. All of the assets, all of the experiences, while through the Mona experience, you can link them together and experience them and jump around in them. Those assets, when you're uploading them to the browser, you're actually uploading them to IPFS, which is basically a decentralized storage network that is going to last for decades and decades to come. Really, IPFS and Filecoin are the building blocks for decentralized storage, and will be hosting all of these assets that are going to be used in the metaverse for these years to come. And so that is a really key part of this, is that all those assets, those are actually decentralized. So they're not, it's not controlled by one company or one central authority.
That has to be the key, because it's in a way, it belongs to us. Right. It's not
exactly.
It's not just yours.
The users. No,
it's ours. And when we embrace that, I mean, for me as a longtime gamer, this concept is so normal. This is so normalized for me. I mean, okay, sure. I'm right in. Like, let's go right now. And I just want folks to realize that they can have that experience now, and that you don't need to continue to have these huge upfront investments, that you guys are building it, and it is there. And if you're an interested creative individual, you can be building it too, right? There's so many resources. This webpage is amazing. I just love it. It's so colorful and it's so interesting. What's your favorite part? I mean, as the CEO, of course, you have a multi-level investment, but as Justin, right, as this interested individual, what do you find the most fun or the most interesting?
The most exciting part for me is really the community that we're building around this. As an artist, as a creator myself, really, I entered the space like seeing that, I had to buy land to start building in the metaverse. And even buying land, there are a ton of aesthetic limitations, technical limitations. I wanted to build things that are super photoreal or super, super stylized and wacky. And I just couldn't. And so as a creator, my favorite part is actually just building a really amazing, supportive community around metaverse building, welcoming other creators, collectors, metaverse enthusiasts, NFT enthusiasts, all types of creators from around the world into this community, as this sort of joint effort to really build this future of the open metaverse, to build together this, collective vision of what is possible. And sort of like, I think what everyone is hoping for, which is this Ready Player One vision.
Yes.
Really working with these metaverse architects. Many of them are game designers, architects, hobbyist 3D creators. They're quitting their day jobs because they're able to come in and start selling their work on Mona, selling these immersive experiences that people can own. Really seeing that is just so rewarding, and being able to like support creators in that way, that's like the most important thing for me.
So interesting. It's so cool. And I mean, you have worked with some big names, like, not trying to name drop here, you can definitely, this product stands on its own and then some. But like when you work with someone such as Drake, who most have heard of, or a massive organization like, MAC Cosmetics, what type of experience can a user expect? I mean, what like, paint that picture when they walk in the virtual room, so to speak. What kind of experiences are people having?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, so some of my past work, which included, doing some stage tour designs for Drake, or doing, AR experiences for MAC Cosmetics.
So these might be internal projects, right? Like, so you could lay out a stage, you could have the venue all sort of mapped out, and then we could work through the rigging and the whole setup and all of that. Is that the kind of part of it that?
It could be everything from visualization to the actual experience itself. I think like one of the, we've been hosting a ton of these sort of like live DJ sets and poetry sessions. And I mean, really, Mona has been the basis for so many of these live experiences, and many more that are being planned now, where it is very similar to like things like the Travis Scott or Ariana Grande Fortnite concert.
I was there in that Fortnite concert because my oldest son invited me, and here's this artist. He's standing larger than life, and I'm running around his feet and like interacting with other people. And sure, I've been in many games before. I played World of Warcraft or Call of Duty. I've been in virtual three-dimensional spaces, but to have it tied to a real world artist, I really can't put into words quite how much more impactful that was to me. and how I remember that day, exactly how I was there with my kids and how fun it was, and how really it blew my mind. And I think that the more people have these kinds of experiences, and sure, I had to have a good computer to put Fortnite in, and I had to have an account, and I had to know how to get into it, and I had to update it before the concert to get in. But I feel like the barrier of entry already with the product such as Mona is so much less that I wouldn't have that wall up in front of me to
just a URL link. Yeah, just a
Yeah.
simple hyperlink, like visiting a website, really. And that's what's really exciting, is seeing that, because with Mona, you have voice chat, you have spatial audio, you have different interactive opportunities amongst avatars. We have full multiplayer. So we're doing these sessions and events that have hundreds of people in the scene with you, with fully customizable avatars. We work with Ready Player Me, who's a great partner of ours. And we also support fully custom avatars. I think people in an event last week, we had people running around as avocados in the space. So that's what's really, really exciting. Yeah.
Oh, it is really exciting. And I wish I could just stand on the rooftops, and tell people to go and check out what Justin is working on here, because you think, right? Like I read the description through the emails, and I was like, okay, yeah, this sounds kind of cool. And yeah, I'd like to talk to this gentleman. He seems like he's working on something neat. But when you start clicking through these spaces and you start looking at what has already been developed, and even as a non-graphical artist type individual, I can start to visualize experiences that I would like to see and ways that I would like to interact with these worlds. What kind of challenges do you have right now in continuing to build forward and to keep innovating? I mean, this is already such an innovative space. What are you still working on, though? Give us some insight into some of the challenges and, the problems that might need to be addressed here moving forward, and what you're doing about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think definitely we're working very hard and diligently on preparing for when the hardware is really going to catch up. Specifically on the AR side, we're very excited about mixed reality. I think there's also a lot to be done in terms of server support for like even more massively multiplayer online experiences, like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in scenes.
Because I've rolled out into some games, and the computers were chugging, and we had 50 people in the area.
Yeah. So and also with that is like internet bandwidth as well, and making sure internet is accessible in like every part of the world. Those are sort of like some infrastructure things that are bigger challenges that a lot of people are working on, that will help support also what we're doing and what people are experiencing. I think a core piece of this too is also just like education about the metaverse and what it actually is, and the fact that it's not owned by one company. It is open. It's this interconnected network of virtual experiences, and really helping the people to understand that the metaverse doesn't have to just be a one-to-one representation of the real world. There don't have to be physics. There doesn't have to be physics in the metaverse. That the metaverse can really be, this collection of really beautiful, unique digital installations, much like you would visit like the Infinity Room, a Yayoi Kusama, art piece at a museum. You can have a very similar digital installation, and that is a part of the metaverse. It doesn't have to be a stale sort of like corporate owned dystopian future. And so I think a lot of
this is ours.
Yeah, this is ours. Yeah.
Right. This is ours. This is the people. And when we build it, it can become whatever we want it to be. And I feel like when we have really positive and forward-thinking individuals such as yourself and your company, I mean, you've got a great list of folks working together with you, it seems to me. And when we have that kind of a foundation, to me, it's just a matter of when. It's just a matter of how long. And I think that that education side to really bring that message out is what I'm working on. It's what I'm trying to do.
That's why, so grateful for you and the work that you're doing. That's such a key piece of this, is really helping to educate people and showing what is possible and what this can be. Yeah.
Well, I'm just a regular guy, but I've been along with technology since day one. And I remember very distinctly being in about 1993, 94, 95. I was in grade 9, 10, something like that. Very pivotal moments for me, and I was all in on the internet. I used these dial-up services before regular browsers were a thing, and people, they treated me poorly. Okay, I have to say, like society, my friends at school, They called me every name in the book. And I didn't care. And I don't care now when people think, oh yeah, this is a bunch of not okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I respect that. And that's why I'm not sitting on here just by myself rambling on about my grand vision of the future. No, I am trying to demonstrate very purposefully that there are exceptional, professional, high quality, high levels of investment going towards what to me is the next step, right? We already have the foundational connection of communication between people that is well adopted. You talked already about having the phone in your pocket. I mean, I just think the concept of kids in a class, for example, maybe they're actually in a physical classroom or maybe they are in a virtual space for their class, but then having these trips, having these experiences, going out to a metaverse space, a monaverse space, there's multitudes of experiences. I don't even understand how that couldn't happen and how that next progression wouldn't be the thing. And when you guys have your next step, I'd like to be there. I'd like to continue to share that message with the world. I'm not afraid. Let the bullies come and pick on me, because I think this train has left the station and there's nothing anybody can do about it.
This is, I mean, it's no different than when the internet, like the dawn of the internet, right? Where everyone, people thought that people were crazy. Like, there's no way, like, this is not, but this is really, truly, the dawn of the new internet. Like, this is the next iteration of that, the next evolution of that, where it is decentralized. And these digital assets, 3D content will merge seamlessly with the real world. And much like we're viewing 2D web browsers, visiting a website in the metaverse is much like having an immersive virtual experience. So you're definitely not alone in seeing that future, and it's only a matter of time until the rest of the world continues to catch on.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Yeah. Now, I know we talked about that decentralized aspect of the blockchain. There are certainly some players out there, I think, in the world at large who have less invested interest in an open, decentralized world, that do wish to maintain as much power and control over us and what we are working on as the general people. What do you see from maybe sort of a governmental level, a high level perspective that could be slowing things down or potentially supporting projects such as yours?
Yeah, I think, generally, I think that ultimately, like, we feel pretty positive about the outlook from like a government, like a regulation perspective. I think there's a lot to be said about just like what has been accomplished just at the grassroots community level with people growing decentralized networks, starting with Bitcoin, then with Ethereum, and kind of seeing all of these other networks and chains emerging. I think generally we feel like very positive about the outlook behind all of it, and it is something that's really exciting. I think we're gonna eventually see some government agencies entering the metaverse.
Yeah, absolutely. So, can't you see yourself walking into like the vehicle registration department in a virtual world?
Exactly. Just go to the DMV virtually.
Who wants to go there on their day off? You want to get out of your pajamas after your week of 10-hour, 12-hour days. I mean, I think when people start to realize how this benefits them, that's when the adoption continues to, it is a picking up, but continues to grow. I just want to keep getting it out there. I want people to know that.
I mean, look at, I know there are like specific cities that are really embracing it. Like the city of Miami is really embracing the concept of the metaverse. And
what are they doing there? I mean, I'm a Canadian. I don't know.
I believe they're building a lot of, I think they're looking to build a lot of their structures like in the metaverse to support sort of what they're doing.
Think of the overhead operating cost to run that building. I mean, that's a massive savings from a large scale perspective that, if a governmental agency is trying to minimize their expenditures and allow access to the citizens to increase, this to me is a major no-brainer.
Definitely. Yeah. And then if you look towards, I believe it was like Dubai, they announced sort of a massive fund and investment towards entering the metaverse. I think like
follow the money, right?
Really good signs. Yeah.
Isn't that cool? That's so cool. I'm just so excited for you guys. I really appreciate the work that you do. And I think, it can't be understated how there is so many detractors still out there who have yet to fully come to terms or to grasp the concept. And the fact that you continue to just push forward with what I believe is such incredible work, I thank you. I really do. I appreciate what you guys are doing at Mona. Is there any big things on the horizon that you'd like to share, Mona 2.0, stuff like that you'd like to share with the listeners today?
Yeah, well, I just want to say thank you again. Really appreciate your time and having me. Definitely. So a few things. Right now, we're actually, with Mona, when we started, we ran a couple of the world's largest build-a-thons where we, in partnership with Filecoin, gave away $250,000. We actually did a couple of these. And so we love doing these monthly build challenges. So for anyone who is interested in getting involved, if you're a creator or otherwise, definitely join our Discord, monaverse.com/Discord. We have a challenge right now where we're giving away $10,000 at the end of this month, encouraging creators to build completely custom VRM avatars. So you'll have a chance, if you just build an avatar, you'll have a chance to win a piece of a $10,000 prize we're giving away. And this is sort of a lead up, we actually have our own marketplace. So I think, like, coming to your very first question, for people who want to get involved, if you're not a creator or if you're interested in buying virtual real estate, I would say don't buy virtual real estate, but rather invest in a creator. You can actually buy a tokenized metaverse experience all through the Mona website. If you go to monaverse.com, you can see thousands of worlds there that are minted and ready to purchase if you're interested. So this is all, those are like sort of the two like main things we have going on, which is a really exciting build challenge for custom avatars. And then, we'll have a lot of really exciting updates towards our marketplace on our website as well coming up.
Man, you guys are cool. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I'm all in. I think this is fantastic, and I can't wait to kind of keep up. I have a running list of the incredible guests that I've had here on the show. And, I'd love to stay in touch, especially, through the Discord. I'd like to drop a link to that in the show description, if you'd be so kind to share that with me. And,
Definitely.
I can share that with the viewers. Is there any other way that the community can connect with you? Do you guys have any further social media, email links? I know we've got the Monaverse.com website, which is really where you need to go to check things out. There is a big old join our community button, which I was waiting for this moment to click. I'm clicking it right now. And look at that. That's taking me to the Discord links. Look, I answered my own question through your well-designed and accessible webpage.
Thank you so much. Yes, definitely check out our website, monaverse.com, monaverse.com/Discord for the community. Follow us on Twitter. We're very active on Twitter at Monaverse. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Justin M. Melillo. And yeah, I think those are sort of the main channels, and we'd love to see you join the community. So, and again, thank you so much, Matt. Really appreciate your time and having me.
The pleasure's mine, Justin. Thank you very, very much for being here today. And it's a pleasure.
It's really, pleasure's mine. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. If you want to follow up with this podcast, don't forget to check out our Facebook page, Exploring the Metaverse. There's a YouTube channel, Exploring the Metaverse on YouTube, as well as our email address, ExploringTheMetaverseTogether@gmail.com. That's ExploringTheMetaverseTogether@gmail.com. There's links in the description. And don't forget to leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you for listening.